Well, good Sunday morning, March 26th. Nice sunny day we got here. And I was just looking at the, I don't know if all of you get this, but the latest edition of Hay and Forage Grower. They had a survey in here by University of Kentucky on what horse owners, what their preferences are for hay. And it is by a researcher named Krista Lee. She's the author. She's at University of Kentucky. And they sent out a questionnaire to horse owners. And what's real interesting, the one disconnect here is they ask them about alfalfa hay versus other type of hays, and most horse owners say alfalfa is, too many nutrients for what horses need, but then almost half of them say, oh, it's a great source of nutrients. So, it's good, palatable, excellent value. Concerns about alfalfa feeding, protein's too high, but yet, a lot of people will feed alfalfa. I think it seems like there's never enough alfalfa to go around. And just because, the fields aren't super persistent, kind of takes some, traditionally, a lot of times took more money to put an alfalfa field in now. But if you look at the price of inputs, a bag of alfalfa isn't any more expensive than a bag of grass seed now, depending on what variety. Sure, you can buy $300 bags of alfalfa, but bag of grass seed's $150, and so is your, a couple levels higher than vernal's, about $160 a bag, depending on where you get it. But what this study really showed, that I'm looking at here is that horse people pretty much buy hay based on what they feel is good hay, not really what the horse thinks is good hay. It's usually not really based on, as most horses really aren't working. Most of them are at a maintenance diet, and I think area-wise it varies, but obviously they say small squares are preferred, but the horse people now in my area followed suit the way the beef industry did a couple decades ago, and for the last, I say 10 years, the market for round bales for horses has just skyrocketed, and it keeps getting bigger each year, so much so in my area that you've got to really justify a very large premium on squares to even do square bales, because with accounted for labor and storage ability and baling capacity, you can pretty much make the same, if not more, money on round bales if you manage your costs just right. Talks in here that it goes in the biology a little bit. Big difference between cattle and horses is that horses can become over fat and over conditioned, but I don't think that's really a factor, because most horse people want their horses way too fat, fatter than what they should be. And I truly think that's why you have so many metabolic disorders with horses, especially as they get older. They're just fed too high a quality feed. And I don't think it's, I've done videos on this before. I don't think it has really hardly anything to do with the hay. It has to do with the starchy grains that the horses are getting. Besides price, they asked here, what are the main factors that they use to buy hay, and it's besides cost, it's the dealer reputation, but then the second most factor was they whether it's the person's going to really stand behind their product and things like that. Other than that, there isn't really anything earth-shattering in this article, basically how good they get along with their hay person and their supplier, and that has to do probably because the supplier backs their product if they have problems with it, if you got some moldy hay or hay that goes bad. But when you look at this chart, there's not a lot of difference. It just basically, I think most horse hay is purchased based on what the person preferences are, not at all what the horse requirements are. But most people in my area, I'd say, want a grass hay, which is fine because horses, you know, they do get over conditioned, too fat on real high quality hay. They're meant to be continuous grazers that eat all day. You know, unlike these cattle that eat about 8 hours a day and then go park themselves and, you know, ruminate and chew their cud. Horses want to, you know, because they don't have that rumen and they're eating this, you know, fibrous food. They really do want to go and they got to eat all day to get the same nutrition out of it, to get anything out of that fiber, instead of what ruminants do. They got to eat a lot more. So that's why they can get just overly fat and too much protein and starch in super high energy diets, and then they do get the metabolic issues. We don't really see that with cows near as much, but anyways, nothing too earth shattering. I think anybody that sells much hay probably has seen the same stuff in here. Other than that, most of the stuff in here is, a lot of it's dairy cattle stuff. So, all right, talk to you later.